Welcome back to the Radio Gamescast, joined by my lovely cohort of co-hosts, Wyatt and Double Alex.
Whoa!
Hello.
Can we get this done?
Yeah, we gotta get moving. Wyatt and I have an appointment afterwards to play more Hades II, which we will be talking about in this episode.
I'm taking valuable time out of my Hades II time.
My Hades II day.
You should be so lucky.
It's very good. I'm going to spoil that discussion for you a little bit. It's great.
So, wow, shocker. Hades II is fantastic.
Who could have seen this coming?
Let's go through the Nintendo Direct first, because that was the first thing. We had a bunch of things happen over the last couple of weeks. There's a bunch of game stuff going on. We were a little bit behind on some of them because we did our nice Game Pass playing games club episode in the middle and didn't want to push that back. So we got a bunch of stuff that we have to talk about from the last few weeks.
Let's get the least exciting one out of the way first.
Yeah, we're going to go through pretty quickly. This was a big Direct in terms of size. Like, it was the largest Nintendo Direct we've gotten basically ever, to my knowledge. That said, I don't think most of us feel like it was that crazy of a Direct.
I think when the longer these Direct-style presentations that you have, the more expectations comes with that, and I don't know if that's something that Nintendo understands, because people were freaking out about what this might be. And I mean, not that the announcements here are necessarily bad, but they're not the most exciting thing in the world.
For Nintendo, like, putting emphasis on the length of this Direct, I think it definitely hits you a little bit of, like, while there was something for everyone here, there was a lot of just, like, dead air and really long takes of time to talk about things that I don't understand that we'll get to very quickly. So first, I'm following IGN's breakdown of this. Nintendo doesn't do a nice like blog post like the rest of the games companies do when they do a big show like this. So I'm running through what I have from IGN here. They always do very nice breakdowns of things. We saw a bunch of stuff shown that are ports of other things, stuff like Persona 3 Reload. We're going to move past the ports because there's not a ton of stuff there for us to talk about. None of them are really to our taste, aside from probably Persona, I think is up right in my alley. But that's
am I wrong? Didn't we already play Persona 3 Reload as a Game Pass game, or was that Persona 4?
We played Reload as a Game Pass. Yeah, this is not a new game. It's the remake that is on other platforms making it the Switch. Which is confusing because Persona 3's portable version is already on Switch, so it's now a double confusion of those two versions of Persona 3 on the platform.
There's like 6 versions of Persona 5, so it's fine.
Look, Persona 5 Persona 5's only got 2. It's just got tons of spin-off games. Persona 3 has quite a few.
I think that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I will say,
how does it compare to Skyrim?
I mean, it doesn't.
We gotta move on from Persona 3.
But I will say, Linked looks cool. I think this is a blip on Ryan and I's radar.
Yeah,
the roguelike life sim next. Does look pretty neat. I like the art style quite a bit. I played a very early, I think it was like Summer Games Fest demo of this a little while ago.
Yeah, so
and I thought it was pretty neat. But I have not played it since, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed it from the demo that I played, but I didn't spend any more time with it. At least when I played it, it was still in early access, so it's now in full release and readily available.
It's not really their fault. The problem with this game is that it isn't Hades. And if you're a roguelike and your name isn't Hades, if you're a game and your name isn't Hades, I don't give a shit about you right now.
Yeah. We also got a port of Dinkum to the Switch, which is very funny because Dinkum is an Animal Crossing-like game. So good platform for it. But it also features guns, where you have to make sure you tame the wilderness. It's really funny. I think I will get a lot of joy out of seeing people reacting to Dinkum being on the Switch, not realizing that it is a little bit more intense than Animal Crossing.
But I would love to get a reaction from like a streamer who typically plays cozy games, and then it dawns on them what they're actually playing.
It is a cozy game, but it's a cozy game with a little bit more tooth than most.
Sure.
All right. Next up, we got Papucom, which is a game that I think Wyatt and I would love. It's like a puzzle co-op platformer thing where you're adjusting colors to move through colored projectiles, essentially. So very
I'm sure I'll be terrible at it.
Look, I think it'd be a good time. I think it's a fun one.
Yeah.
After that, we got a few other rapid fire announcements I'm going to run through pretty quickly. Danganronpa 2x2, which is a kind of re-release of Danganronpa 2, but also with new stuff. So I'm not sure exactly what this is, but Danganronpa stuff.
Sure.
I'm sure Danganronpa fans are going to be very happy. I've always been more of a Zero Escape person. So, moving on. Power Wash Simulator 2. Cool.
It's another one.
They are adding
I
co-op,
don't
which
have
is
anything to
which
say.
is cool.
No, co-op's in the
Honestly,
first one too.
great
Oh, is
game.
it? Oh.
Yeah, great
I think
game
so.
for the Switch 2, though. I think that is
Yeah.
a fantastic game to play on your Switch 2, especially if it has motion controls.
Ooh, yeah.
Then we got another Fatal Frame announcement. So Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly is getting remade. And that's very cool. I think Fatal Frame games are very fun.
Oh, is this a remake? Oh, yeah, it is a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake.
I don't think I realized there was a second Fatal Frame.
There are 4 of them.
That's a me problem. Oh my god.
There's a few Fatal Frames.
Well, how about that?
Fatal Frame has always done quite well in Japan, so it continued until we got some of them here more recently, and they added them to the Switch a little while back. I think last year we got a couple. So, and they're very good. They're fun horror games that feel like a very interesting take on like that Japanese action horror genre, but focused around a camera. So very cool. Stormlancers Shadow dropped. It's a sci-fi swordplay 2D thing, roguelike thing. Looked neat. I didn't see anything that like drew me to it because Hades 2 was right around the corner, and that's a problem for everything. So hope it's good. Hades 2
I've been
too
hearing.
absorbing.
I've been hearing good things about it. I mean, it's not Hades. I've been hearing that it's not Hades, and that's really the problem. But I've heard good things.
Every game that's not Hades has an issue, and that's in the cons list now. For everything is that it's not Hades. We have an actual gripe with these developers now because their games are not Hades.
It will be used against them.
Suika Game Planet. I don't know if you guys remember the Rage of Suika game.
Oh,
streaming.
I remember Suika, Ryan. I actively play it.
It's a fun game. I think it's a really good, very cheap, quick puzzle game. If you're looking for something that feels like the spirit, I'm curious if you agree with me on this, Alex. Feels like the spirit of like the early iPhone games,
The 2048 type styles. Yeah.
Yeah, 2048,
Oh, yeah.
and like some of those early games before it became crazy. Suika game is very fitting for that type of thing.
You know what else?
Suika Game Planet looks fun.
In that vein, looking back at gameplay for this, I do remember this now. This would make, obviously you'd have to change the art style. This would make such a great Playdate game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
This would be great.
I'd be surprised
like I can already
if
see
Playdate
it.
doesn't have like a Suika game inspired game on it.
I can already see like movement with the crank would be really, really smooth and everything.
Mm-hmm. After that, Dynasty Warriors Origins coming to Switch 2. I think this is the best Dynasty Warriors game in a long time. Potentially just the best period. So I think
You said I really like this one. Personally.
Yeah, because the interesting thing with this one is you follow a single character, so you're not like swapping characters every mission. Instead, you're swapping allegiances. So you've got like kind of like Fire Emblem Three Houses. You can kind of align yourself with one of the big main factions, or you can move between them. And the thing that's really interesting about what they show here, the character that they show for this DLC that's going to be coming on with this is the leader of the Yellow Turbans, who's a very important like figure in Chinese history, who famously started this huge rebellion. Traditionally in Dynasty Warriors, he's portrayed as like a crazy old dude. They went hard left field with this one and portrayed him as like a hot, like prophet like man who's upset that his followers took it too far. And it's really interesting. It's a really fascinating start of the game because you always have to kill him. He's like one of the first characters that you kill in a Dynasty Warriors game. But the way that this game worked, there was like a whole thing that made it seem like you could have sided with him, basically. So this seems like they're actually going to commit to that and add that route into the game, which is really cool because the rest of it was super fun. I think Origins is a really good game, so being able to play it on Switch 2, very cool. Yeah, moving on. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, coming to Switch. Looks neat. Past that, Monster Hunter Stories 3. Very excited for this one. I love Monster Hunter Stories as a series. The third one being like more medieval-y fantasy, or medieval European fantasy, I should say, is very along my lines. So I like the others, but give me a good castle and I'm happy. And this one looks like it has some good castles.
Classic European medieval inspired little village with the little thatch roofs and everything. Oh,
Yeah, just give me anything with an Elder Scrolls Oblivion look. I'm gonna like. I'm just predisposed to it. Human Fall Flat coming as well. It's already there, but this is the Switch 2 version. Same with One Piece Pirate Warriors and Overcooked 2, also getting Switch 2 versions. Stardew Valley getting Switch 2 version as well, but also mouse support and 4-player split-screen co-op, which is very cool. I think that's a great add for people that are into this type of game. Like me, Stardew Valley is still one of the best, so it's going to be really fun to play in co-op. Dragon Quest VII is getting a reimagined diorama-looking remake. I think this looks neat.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see those Toriyama designs repurposed and redrawn in this cool new way. So yeah, this looks cool. I'm less familiar with Dragon Quest games than with Final Fantasies. I've only played one, but
seems
generally
like
very good.
It seems like
Speaking of
that
Final
those
Fantasy.
character designs are translated well into 3D, which is good as well.
Yeah, they look great. I mean, going for a diorama look, it's a very cool thing, and I'm glad they didn't just do HD 2D for it, because it's cool to get the differences. As much as I love HD 2D, now we've got a couple different styles. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade coming to Switch as well in January. I got to play this at PAX West. It was running incredibly well. I would say it ran better than the PS4 version that I played. So, like, yeah, it ran great. Very excited to see that on Switch 2. I'm really interested in how Rebirth is going to look.
I was just about to say, now that we kind of understand how the Switch 2 performs, do you think they could do a Rebirth port?
They are. They've said they're doing a Rebirth port.
Oh, shit.
So
okay.
we're getting a Rebirth port
Okay.
down the line. So at least to my knowledge, it might have been that they were interested in doing it, but they haven't confirmed it, something like that. But to my knowledge, we're getting a Rebirth port. Which, yeah, I'm more interested in how that one's going to run, because Rebirth is definitely a more intense game, though both are great. So, Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, is the best fever dream series of video games that I've ever played, and I cannot wait to have it on Switch 2, so I can stop playing The Sims. And instead start playing Tomodachi Life. Yeah, Tomodachi Life's insane. I can't wait. I hope it has all the online sharing stuff that the old one did, of being able to create absolute cursed monstrosities of your favorite celebrities and TV personalities and all that, or like video game characters. There were tons of crazy Sonics you could get in the old one that were absolutely insane. Can't wait to see what cursed stuff the internet comes up with for Tomodachi Life. Kirby Air Riders, Amiibos, neat. They can swap carts. That's basically it. They also said that we're going to get another Kirby Air Riders Direct, which frankly I don't really understand, because I feel like we've seen quite a bit.
They showed off a lot of it.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit. It's coming pretty soon. This is another one that I got to play at PAX West, and it was super fun. Like, no issues. Very much looking forward to it.
I guess the only thing I'd want to see out of another Direct is what City Trial looks like, because I don't think they.
The great thing is I got to play that at PAX, and it was great. So that's the one that can attest to it being very good. So yeah, I hope this is gonna launch and be great. I'm very excited for Air Riders. Resident Evil Requiem surprise coming to Switch 2, which is I think the most surprising like new game that we saw here.
Pretty impressive.
And it looked like we were seeing Switch 2 footage, and it looked good. Clearly there were cutbacks, but I think it looked good for what it was.
It looked very aliased.
Yes. Low res comparatively, specifically the hair. So I'm expecting it's something to do with like the hair quality settings being lower. Yeah, Resident Evil Requiem, another one I got to play at PAX and was very fun. So looking forward to that. Hades 2, the 1.0 release date for Switch 2 was shown here. It's out. You can go play it. I heavily recommend you do go play it.
In fact, half the people of this podcast are playing it right now.
And the problem with this game is that it isn't Hades. Oh, no, we're good.
It is Hades 2.
This one passes.
The problem with this game is that it is Hades 2.
And it's ruining my life.
And I don't want to be here because I want to be playing it. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment got shown off again. This is another weird one.
Coming out this year.
Yeah, this got shown off a while back, and I forgot about it, and then it showed up again. So looks neat. I'm really excited for what these games look like on Switch 2 and actually hopefully run well compared to the other Hyrule Warriors.
Have we gotten any kind of performance patch or anything? I know it runs at a solid 30 now, but
nothing that uncaps it to my knowledge to 60. But yeah, I really want to be able to play Age of Calamity at 60 because that game is really fun, but it's really held back.
And it gets worse as the game goes on.
Yeah, it gets dramatically worse as the game goes on. Super Mario Bros. Had a 40th anniversary thing. The biggest thing here is the new Super Mario Galaxy movie announcement.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt's back. I don't know. I was pretty ambivalent on the first one. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly love it either. So I'll probably see the new one.
I was really bored. Like, I went out of pure curiosity, and I was really bored.
I think it was more fun because I saw it in like a packed IMAX, and that was very fun because you had a lot of people like in the audience reacting. I live in an area that's a game developer hub, so there were a lot of game developers there that were just shouting the whole time. It was great.
It's not quite a friend slop movie.
I mean, it's kind of an appropriate word to apply to the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
I would definitely describe that movie as slop.
Why is taking a stance here? After that, we saw the Mario Tennis is getting a new game, Mario Tennis Fever. Looks like it has a lot more content than the prior entry on Switch 1, which is very good because that was a big complaint for Switch 1. Is that it was lacking a lot of stuff. So hopefully Fever launches and feels complete when it lands. After that, we got a Super Mario Wonder update, which I'm surprised is not till 2026. I would have liked to see just like a baseline resolution bump, but there's some weird stuff they're adding. There's like mini game modes, some other things that look fun. Also, you can buy the talking flower.
Oh.
If you want a talking flower on their desk, you can buy it and you can have it there and it will talk to you.
I can't think of anything that I want less.
Speaking of batshit crazy hardware.
Well, we're not quite there yet. The Super Mario Galaxy, the Super Mario Galaxy collection is also coming. Just to mention, which is great because Galaxy 2 hasn't been available on the Switch before. Because the All Stars collection, which again Nintendo took off of stores after selling it for a while, only had Galaxy 1, which is again very strange. Now the collection is still, I think, $70 with a $40 price per game if you're buying them separately. So kind of crazy remakes.
It is cool.
These are just the games. They're just upscales.
It is cool that we're getting a game that was previously locked on the Wii. I like that, but at the same time, it's like this shouldn't even exist.
One of the best ones because Galaxy's really good, and at least this time it doesn't seem like they're going to limit it based on time. That insane
for now,
move.
We shouldn't even be glad that they're doing that because it shouldn't even be a thing.
It never should have happened in the first place. Speaking of another thing that never should have happened in the first place. It's Nintendo re-releasing the Virtual Boy.
Okay. I may have a bit of a hot take. I think I have a hot take for this. Okay, here's my hot take. Because the gist seems to be that people are pissed off about this because it's like, oh, there's all these other N64 GameCube games that we should have gotten first, which I kind of understand. Here's my thing. At first I was actually super on board for this because I love that they're putting any attention on the Virtual Boy at all, and I think it's hilarious that they're adding it as part of their Nintendo Online whatever, right? I thought it was really funny and kind of cool until I realized that you need the stupid fucking goggles.
You have to get the goggles.
That is the dumbest.
The Virtual Boy is famous for having made people sick all the time.
Made people sick, having it be a completely dysfunctional, ergonomically.
Nintendo want to see me do it again.
Also, none of their games were actually required.
And what makes it even better is the little stand is $100.
I know. They had something that I thought was actually kind of cute and kind of un-Nintendo in a way, where they're kind of honoring a very,
to be very clear, none of these games are games that you couldn't have played just in a standard look without the headset.
The thing. If they wanted to sell the headset as a separate thing, if you want to, totally fine with that. It's $100. I don't give a shit.
It's a weird collector's item.
Totally fine with it. But the fact that it requires an extra $100 and you already have to have the Nintendo Online
you
thing
have to get the expansion pack. Not even base Nintendo Online. You need the expansion pack.
It's psychotic. It's actually psychotic.
Look, I'm just
It's
excited that Virtual
insane.
Boy is getting the chance to fail a second time. So
They actually had a chance for people to.
It's we're gonna have a Morbius returning to theaters moment
Because, like, the
here.
thing is, there were actually, from what I understand, some decent games on the Virtual Boy. The problem
Yeah.
is that they were all in black and red because they were on the fucking Virtual Boy. And they're fucking it up again. A second time.
We also learned that
Nice.
Pokemon Legends ZA is getting a day one DLC called Mega Dimension. All right.
Man, announcing
Oh, is it
DLC.
day one
And
DLC?
I could be
they're
wrong about the
locking
day one part. Let me double check that.
they're
I-
locking several Mega Evolutions behind what is it, PvP stuff. So you need to have a Nintendo Online account for.
Okay,
Announcing
so
DLC.
you can buy the DLC on day one. The DLC itself is not day one. It's the cosmetic that it comes with is day one. You get like a cosmetic thing. Okay,
Yeah.
less upset about that one.
Okay, but
still
it's
weird.
That's what I was saying.
You should not be announcing DLC for your game before it's even out. It's not a good look.
Yeah, at least like
I don't feel
have
like
the
that's that
decency
bad.
to show it off in the launch trailer.
I also think announcing DLC for a new Pokemon game in the state that Pokemon is in right now is just bad. Because I think people are
Yeah.
finally starting to fucking give up on Pokemon, and it seems like ZA might be really interesting. But again, this is Legends. It's not even like a mainline release. And I feel like it.
Yeah, the
people's
Legends ones are
perception-
better.
Well, that's the thing, is that people's perception of Pokemon is, I feel like, is really starting to warp over the last couple of years with the last few releases. So doing something like this, I feel like, is the last thing you want to do PR wise.
It's like let the Legends game come out and then be like, hey, we're supporting with DLC, and then
Yeah.
I think the exact
Just-
same situation, but things are optically a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, new new Yoshi in the Yoshi game, Yoshi in the Mysterious Book. I think the book had me thinking Legend. It looks very cool. Another like Yoshi getting the cool art styles game.
Yeah, seriously.
It's like a puzzle
Yeah.
adventure platformer. Yeah, I think this looks very cute. Probably super fun for kids. Might be something I'll pick up down the line. So, moving on, past our Super Mario announcements.
This
and Nintendo
insane
section
thing.
to
That's my new
Pokemon
sleep paralysis
Pokopia,
demon.
which I agree with Alex. The main character of this looks like a sleep paralysis demon. It's a Ditto who's impersonating a human trainer because the trainer
who is-
presumably died
I
in
was
a
gonna say-
cave.
I was theorized to be their trainer that died in a cave accident.
Because they look at their Pokedex and they're maybe dead in a cave, so they can then go and like turn into the Pokemon to do cool farming things. Yeah, this is neat. I think this is a very interesting concept for a thing. I wonder how much longevity it'll have and how different it'll be from something like Animal Crossing, because I do think this needs to be like, as Wyatt said, Pokemon's got kind of a laser focus on it now in terms of the quality of the games they've been releasing. So I'm hoping this actually stands on its own 2 feet and is not just like, oh, but what if you were a Pokemon to be a watering can instead of a watering can in Stardew Valley?
Wow, what if?
Sorry, that entire sentence.
But what if I were Pokemon watering can instead of a water can? Because I can use
That sounds
Squirtle's
really-
water gun to make things grow.
That sentence really just kind of broke me. I can't.
Let's move past it. Donkey Kong
Please.
Bonanza got DK Island and the Emerald Rush DLC that launched day of this direct. It's $20. It has a special like challenge mode. They apparently sold it pretty short in the direct. Like I think if you just watch the direct, you'd be like, oh, why is this $20? I've heard after the fact that like there's way more stuff in it than the direct showed. It's like got remakes of all the main layers, so you can do tons of stuff in there and then like go re-experience everything in this rush mode. The DK Island part I've heard is pretty fine, like not that crazy, but the rush mode has a lot of stuff to it, which is very cool. So glad this game's getting some extra stuff because yeah, it's
This
really
is how you
fun.
announce DLC. By the way, Nintendo, this is how it's done. This is
Yeah,
great.
just drop it. It's
Just drop it
drop it like it's
after the
hot.
game comes out. After it comes out.
Yep. Okay, so after that, we go into my thing of the show, I think. And I'm specifically saying that just because we haven't seen this before. There's one other thing that I'm really into, but it's a thing that we've heard about forever. So, first, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave got announced, which seems to be in the same setting as Three Houses, just in a different time period and place. Potentially far in the future, because you as Alex mentioned while we were watching this, there's guns.
Yeah,
We've
the
moved
priest
into
has a gun.
gunpowder, which is very cool. So I'm excited to see this one. There was a crazy appearance of Sothis at the end from Three Houses, so I'm really curious what's going to be going on here.
I do
think
feel
this
like
looks a great time.
my built-in hatred of this series, which to be fair is a very unfair hatred. I simply hate it because they're not working on Advance Wars games. That's my hatred of this series because it's taken over their focus. I feel like that's starting to die down a little bit. I do want to check out Three Houses. I've heard multiple people tell me
It's
that I
great.
would probably like Three Houses. I do want to check it out. I did like Awakening. I never finished it. I did like it though. It's that little twinge of like anger is always going to be there though.
It's always
I
going to be
just
there.
want to
That's
know.
not
I
Advanced
just
Wars.
want a new Advance Wars game. I don't know why this is so difficult.
Look, they did a remake of Advance Wars, and then an unfortunate real life war happened, and so I think they've taken the lesson that they can't do more Advanced Wars because it seems to have a
Next
cosmic
one will
effect.
be Advanced Peace.
Well, there was that, but also specifically in the first game, you had a character who was very, Russian coded, invading another country.
So,
But it's so
kinda-
on brand. How could they not do it? It's easy bait.
All right, moving on. Fire Emblem looks cool. To Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond, we've gotten a release date. It's December 4th. I am
Yeah,
tremendously excited
baby.
because that's 2 days after my birthday, and I'm going to get to play this like crazy. Cannot wait for this one. So, yeah,
There's a bike
tremendously
and
excited.
there's open world stuff, which
Yeah, we got to see lots of bike stuff.
I'm interested to see how this works out. It's a trend with Nintendo games where they're adding open worlds to everything now. And that works a lot of the time. And I feel like with things
I'm
like
betting with Metroid, it's going to be closer to like Donkey Kong's approach, where it's quote unquote an open section, but it's more like levels that are separated into large areas.
Yeah, I'm
That's more
imagining
what I'd
with
expect.
Prime,
Like the Halo 1 design, essentially.
which
I'm
I
just
think would
thinking
work quite well.
Yeah.
with Metroid games in general and Prime, there's a lot of like back and forth backtracking once you unlock stuff. So I'm wondering if it's just kind of an approach similar to how, well, this is very open world, so maybe that's a bad example. I'm just wondering if it's going to be that you can kind of take certain things in any order you want, but like generally progression will be locked behind what unlocks you have.
I mean, and that's the classic Metroidvania approach. So
Exactly.
I expect that it'll work really well. Very excited to see this. This is probably my most hyped game that hasn't come out yet this year. So
I'm very excited
Can't
for
wait.
it. A, because I want to play it, and B, it's like one of the only other games that's left in my fantasy league that's going to get me any kind of points whatsoever.
I'm hoping it's get to big
Oh, I was
points.
wondering-
That's the one that
I was wondering who
getting
have
on
been.
that one being good.
I mean, I'm fucked either way. Even if this does well or not, I'm fucked either way. But at least I can
Alright.
go down with a little bit of a fight.
Overall, yeah, it was a Nintendo Direct. It was really long. I think the amount of time we spent on weird Mario side things and the Virtual Boy and just a bunch of like non-game stuff meant that there was a lot of filler time in this one. And that I think is why people have been kind of ambivalent on it. I pretty much agree. I think it was just really long. Like with all the stuff here, they could have condensed this down pretty heavily because the heavy hitters like Fire Emblem and Metroid didn't really get that much time. So, wish we
It
would've
felt
seen
like the
more of those.
focus was in the wrong areas. Was
Yeah.
kind of the issue.
Not that the content was the problem, but the length and the focus was spent on odd stuff. It almost felt more like a business thing than a like games showcase. All right, moving on to the State of Play, which is much more recent. That was just at the start of this week. Battlefield 6 getting its campaign trailer. Excited for Battlefield.
Kind of crazy that we're getting the campaign stuff this late, because usually campaigns for multiplayer shooters like this is what is basically used as the marketing, right?
I think
But
in
it's
Battlefield's
neat.
case, they just had to prove they were doing the Battlefield part right, and they got that, so people
Yeah,
are okay
they're-
now.
It seems like they're gonna have fairly open-ended level design. They're actually incorporating the destruction, which is cool. There's gameplay where people are using sledgehammers to like bust open walls and to like access different parts of a building and stuff. That's
Yeah.
always been the biggest problem with Battlefield campaigns, is that they're just the most generic, like especially mechanics wise, they're just the most generic shooters ever and don't actually incorporate any of Battlefield's strengths.
Yep. Really excited for it. We saw Chronoscript, The Endless End, which immediately grabbed
really
us
cool.
all, I think.
Yeah.
It is a 2D action adventure, kind of in the mind of something like Plucky Squire, where you're moving through a book
really
that's
plays
on...
with the scenery.
Yeah, you're
It's unfinished.
moving through a book that is on a table, and then like you spread through, and you can move through like ink stains and stuff. It looks great. I think the pitch is that you're like some type of archaeologist or something that has come here and is pulled into the book, which explains why there's like some modern looking technology in bits. Which yeah, I'm tremendously excited for this.
The art style almost in the 2D sections almost reminds me of Pentiment a little
Yeah.
bit. Very,
Really
very
cool.
like heavy outlines and stuff like that. Kind of
Heavy line work. Next, we got a trailer for Code Vein 2. I've played the first one. It's okay. It's like one of the first Souls-like takes from a different company that was pretty successful. I'm hoping the second one is much better because I think the first one was a little clunky. As Alex can attest, I think he's played it most recently.
Oh, Code Vein?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Clunky.
That's being generous.
Oh.
So hopefully Code Vein 2 is doing a little better. They've had
It
quite a bit of
looks
time.
smoother at the very least.
Yeah, it does.
I
It's
still
got a
think
cool
there's
aesthetic.
a weird on the aesthetic. I still think there's a weird kind of separation between the environment and the actual character designs. They're very cartoony in a very photoreal like level design, and it looks weird. Maybe it's something where you get used to it when you're playing, but it does look very strange.
All right, Crimson Desert got more of a showcase, including a pretty heavy story trailer that showed you can ride a mech. I don't know what to think of this game. This is one of the ones I missed out on being able to play at PAX, so I have no grounding of what this game is like. I am very excited to play it because I think it looks insane, and if it succeeds at even half of what it's attempting, I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah, this is one that I think every time it comes up, I say I'm wary about, but if it does it well, it could be incredible. And every time I see it, it looks like it's going to be good.
I'm
Looks
still
cool.
shocked that it's real and it's coming out. You know, like
it seems like the Prime Video game. Like I don't know if anyone else here is watching Mythic Quest, but to me, it's the type of game that when I see the gameplay of at least the early ones, I'm like, this is what I imagine Mythic Quest to have looked like in terms of what they're describing. So
the vibes that I'm getting, honestly, and this may not be a great comparison, is Biomutant, because similarly, Biomutant promised so many different things, and it technically had all of those things that they promised. The degree of quality varies a lot in the game.
I mean, it's interesting with this one because this is made by Pearl Abyss, who does Black Desert.
Right.
And Black Desert is a really well-made game from like a technical standpoint. It does a lot of stuff. The biggest problems with it are the classic like Asian MMO trapping that we see in a lot of older Asian MMOs that are very like free-to-play focused, despite not being a free-to-play game. It is a buy-to-play game, but it's very much like you've got tons of resources that you grind for your different classes that you have to slam into them. It's very PvP focused in some areas. You're basically just grinding quests the whole time because there's not that much of a story. You've got like all these mechanics based around setting up supply lines and it's open world and doing like merchant trading if you want to, which is kind of like, it just gets wild. I really recommend looking into Black Desert at some point if you're curious what this studio does. Because yeah, it's a fascinating MMO that I've always just kind of left feeling more confused than like I had a good time whenever I play it. But that's on me. That's not on the game. That's just don't have the time to dedicate to it. So I'm very excited for their take on a single player thing because yeah, I think that's going to be potentially really fun. Next we see Deus Ex Remastered from Aspyr, who they've handled a lot of the Star Wars remasters. This is an interesting looking one because it doesn't look that good.
Quite intrigued.
First of all, it looks weird. Maybe it looks better than the original, I think. I think the big benefit here is that this is going to be on modern platforms and more readily playable, because the original Deus Ex is hard to play outside of a PC right now. So, sure. I'd love to see this on Switch too.
I have the original Deus Ex on PC, and there's some really weird things about the way it runs.
Yeah.
Because it has not been maybe it has been
I think you need a mod pack to
remastered.
like get it to play nicely
But
on PC.
there was some things that when I played it, it was just like just straight up the original version, basically. And like if you looked at water, a modern PC would chug at like 1 frame per second because of some way it's rendering the water that does not play well with a modern graphics card or something.
Yeah, hoping it's good. Deus Ex, from everything I've heard, is a great game, and I love the newer Deus Ex games, so I'd love to go play it. Okay, after that, Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. Remastered is almost selling this one light. It looks like a remake from what they've shown off. They've touched some gameplay stuff. I did do more digging into why like Dynasty Warriors 3 is the one that they're going for here. And it's that 3 is really, I think, one of the most well-regarded in the franchise. So I guess this is like we're going to stick you something so that you can have something to do between the Origins DLC and whatever the next Dynasty Warriors is. Outside of Hyrule Warriors and all that stuff. So, cool. I'm down for Dynasty Warriors 3 to be around, because I like Dynasty Warriors games that I've not played 3. We got a God of War controller. That's the thing. That's the next one.
Yeah. It's technically a God of War controller.
To be honest,
it has a red stripe on it.
If you didn't tell me it was a God of War controller, I would not have recognized it as a God of War controller, and I do think that's a problem. So
it's very.
I get what they were
minimal.
going for, but it's definitely like odd that it's still completely stark white, and all those.
Yeah,
it looks odd. Okay, Gran Turismo 7 is getting a big update. That's the next thing. I don't think any of us have played Gran Turismo 7.
No.
Halloween.
Nah.
The Halloween game is releasing in September of 2026. To be clear, they showed this off a full year early, which is a little crazy for an asymmetric multiplayer game to be shown off this early. Because I don't really know what it's buying them to show off at this point. I feel like they should have just held off until next year. Because this is the type of game that I think is going to get the most excitement just out of a drop, and then you can play it.
That year better be bug fixes based on the studio's past.
Moving through Last Epoch, getting a PS5 edition, as well as an announcement for their expansion, Oribus. I like Last Epoch a lot. I'm looking forward to the expansion. I still don't think the campaign is finished on PC. The game's weird in that they launched without finishing the campaign out of early access, which I still don't fully understand. But the actual game is phenomenal. It just kind of ends at one point, and I was kind of invested in the story, and I can't finish it.
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I'm looking forward to playing it. Moving on, Let It Die Inferno. This is a weird one. This is one of the Let It Die is a franchise of games that's been coming out on PlayStation stuff for a while, that are like PvP.
I was not expecting it.
Extraction roguelite games. There's a pretty big cult following for the first one. I think the second one was pretty poorly received, and then this third one seems like there's some excitement for it. So
I don't think I knew that there was more than one. I was only familiar with...
Well, I think the second one is like the free-to-play re-release of the first or something. I don't know if it's actually
Battle Royale
a different thing.
sequel? Interesting.
I don't know.
The first one's just like a hack and slash...
Yeah, hack and slash roguelite thing.
Kind of thing.
This one is a PvPvE thing, though they didn't actually go into detail of what the PvPvE is, because it looked like they were just showing roguelite action sequences, so I'm not sure how that factors in. Yeah, I'm not a PvPvE person, but I guess I hope it's fun for people that enjoy that, or that it has a mode that I can play that doesn't make me fight other players. All right. Moving on to what we were all here for, which is Wolverine, and looks very good. I think zero comments on Wolverine. I'm looking forward immensely to playing it. It looks as brutal as a Wolverine game needs to be.
Nice and bloody.
Yeah, my only complaint is that I believe when I clicked this trailer, it said gameplay trailer, and there's hints
like
of
maybe
gameplay
5
in
seconds
this trailer.
of gameplay in there.
I mean, to be fair, I think that like a shitload of this game leaked, so maybe I could figure it out from there. But I'm not into watching much leaked stuff, so
yeah, I'm just very excited for this.
I do think this
one of
looks
those
great.
games.
really great.
I hate that this is one of those games that was like a bunch of leaks came out well before they even like showed anything off about it, and people were
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
to make judgments on a game that was
Hmm.
at that point years out from being and that like that shit just pisses me off so much. It's like none of us were supposed to see this. No one was supposed to see this because it's not fucking finished. We can't make any definitive statements on a game that is not fucking finished. It's the same shit that happened with GTA 6. It's the same shit that
Oh,
happened with
but
Last
we
of Us 2.
will.
It just like it pisses me off so much.
Yeah, we had a whole separate conversation about how we feel about leaks, but yeah, I think Wolverine. Very excited to play it. We didn't get a ton else to go on here. I think it does look like they're getting the setting quite right, and the Wolverine is a short ball of fury, as he should be, which I'm very excited about because all the enemies look taller than him, which I love.
God, the only thing that's missing is for Hulk or She-Hulk to do the speedball special with him. Just like they don't have to be in the story at all. It just has to be a finisher move where they come out of fucking nowhere and throw the little man.
Perfect.
I think there are supposedly some other X-Men characters in this, so you could like Beast or.
I imagine there's going to be at least
Colossus.
one or two others. Although I do hope they keep it focused. So.
It's also important to keep in mind. I know there's been a lot of pushback to Spider-Man 2 over the last year or two, but like these guys, I don't even want to get into it. These guys have not like these guys don't miss. They have
everything has been good.
Almost perfect track record in terms of just making quality games, especially post PS5. I'd say even post PS4. Like everything has been so solid. So hopefully they keep that going, but it's one of those studios where like I don't really worry that the product isn't going to be quality.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Microsoft Flight Sim coming to PlayStation and PlayStation VR. Very cool.
Can I sidetrack for one moment off of this one?
No, because I have to play more Hades. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Then I'm taking up 10 minutes of your time. No, I don't. This there was another piece of news that came out. I heard, and this announcement and that piece of news kind of make me think the console war is over, guys. This is coming to PlayStation, and Costco will no longer be stocking Xboxes because they can't move them off the shelf.
Wow.
Damn.
All right.
That's crazy.
That's our Microsoft Flight Sim news. Moving on to Neo 3. Because I want to talk about Neo, and I don't want to spend time debating. Look, I want to play Hades, okay?
Let's keep this going. Come on.
Neo 3. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's a pseudo-open take on a Neo game. It looks like it's split into 3 timelines, which is very cool. So I'm fascinated with how they're going to pull this one together, because I think Neo is a great series and needs some new stuff. So looking forward to it. All right, moving on. We got Pulse Elevate speakers. It's weird because the only thing I want to mention with the speakers is they look cool. I mean, the thing that got me with this one is they look like they were advertising them largely as like PC desktop speakers more than TV speakers, which was interesting.
Yeah. And there's plenty of people out there that like, especially I would say probably college students who are living in dorms where their PlayStation or whatever is hooked up to their monitor, the same monitor that their PC's hooked up to. But I feel like if you're a console manufacturer, you're a console like studio, you really want to like advertise the living room like couch experience.
Well, it's interesting too because like when I think of like people with a monitor as their primary method of playing games, just like what I do, I think most of them probably use headphones because a lot of the times it's because you're in an apartment or because you're in college living or something where you're gonna have less space.
Or you want actual like surround sound,
and you don't want like. You're not going to have the money or the setup time to do wireless speakers all over your room. And you got to think about other people being door to door with you, thin walls and all that and stuff. So I don't know exactly who these are for. Neat that they exist.
And I'll say this too, like I have a pair of PC speakers, right? I use them mostly when my girlfriend and I want to play something on the computer or I'm, whatever's happening. But they're mostly there and I don't use them as often as I use my headphones, right? So like you really want to keep these kind of PC speakers on the cheaper side because I feel like the use case is a little bit limited, kind of like what Ryan was saying.
Yeah, unless you own like a house or something where it's not a problem, right?
I can already tell you that these are not going to be cheap.
For sure. Yeah, these don't look cheap. So moving on. We saw gameplay for Saros, which looks really good. This is Housemarque's new thing. Can't wait. I think Returnal was great. So
yeah, huge Returnal fan. This looks like more of the same. I'm interested to see what kind of
it's got like cool
sci-fi
bullet
stuff they want to
shields this
do.
time, where you like send things back, which is neat.
Yeah, it seems like a continuation of what they're working on, which I'm very excited for. I hope they clean some of the weirder kind of roguelike stuff up, because there were some things that just didn't quite fit in the formula. So
Yeah, it kind
hopefully
of
they
felt
can
like their team had not played a lot of roguelites and how they
or
actually
they
work, and
added
like
things,
missed some things.
or they added things that they feel like they needed to add when it wasn't really necessary.
Yeah.
Also, I hope the variety of weapons is a bit better this time, because the other problem with Returnal is once you got the like large kind of light machine gun style thing, everything else kind of paled in comparison. So I hope the variety of weapons is a little stronger this time.
All right. After that, we saw Mega Man stuff for Sonic Crossworlds. Moving on. None of us have played Crossworlds. I've heard it's very good. Seven Deadly Sins Origins. We saw a bunch of. This is an interesting looking one, because I think these games, the tie-in like JRPG open world RPGs, are a strange thing, but sometimes are wildly good. Like Grand Blue Relink was fantastic. So I'm very open to this being good. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Seven Deadly Sins at all. I've not seen anything of it, so hoping it's cool. All right, final thing. Moving on was Zero Parades for Dead Spies. It's the Zaum follow-up to Disco Elysium. This is an interesting one, because Zaum's had a bunch of drama between Disco Elysium launching and now.
Yeah.
The girlies are fighting.
Tons of the
Is
developers
this the same
are gone.
Team. Yeah, that was kind of
We largely
my
don't
question.
know. That's the problem right now, is we don't know a ton. There were accusations that the person heading the studio now basically like took it from the other founder. There's counter accusations, so like the actual state of Zaum is not really well known. I think it's really just going to be like, if this game comes out and is good, it seems like things are all right. If not, there probably were problems. As of right now, we don't have a ton to go off of aside from speculation. So we just know there was a bunch of crazy stuff that went on. And yeah, I really liked Disco Elysium, so I would love for this to be good, but it's a weird situation. All right. That's the state of play. I feel like overall this was the better show of the two that we're talking about this week. Despite having, I think, less heavy hitters and less new stuff, it was way tighter. This was only 35 minutes or so.
I don't know. Yeah, Wolverine usually hits pretty heavy.
Yeah, Wolverine is crazy cool. Things like Crimson Desert are just... Every time I see Crimson Desert, I get more interested in this game, despite us having seen quite a lot of Crimson Desert. Like the game's been shown off quite a few times.
Gameplay for Saros was pretty cool too,
Yeah.
and it was like good quality gameplay with UI, which was nice to see.
Yes. They won't fill in on the gameplay for that, so yeah, I think this was a really impressive show. Moving on, let's talk about what we've been playing this week, because we got a couple highlights. Very quickly, I want to mention Wyatt, Alex, and I have been playing a lot of Borderlands 4.
Oh yeah,
it's very good. I think we all had a good time with it. I finished the campaign. I finished it again with Alex as we were running through it. I think it was overall, I don't have like any big complaints with this one, which, considering Borderlands games is, in Borderlands 3 especially, is a very impressive.
Well,
finally finished the story with Ryan. No spoilers.
I've heard console performance also isn't great.
It seems very like every other update, performance has something wacky going on with it.
There's something weird with this one. They updated it on PC and it's stuttering ever since, but seems to have gotten smoother longer end.
But played, oh my god, the story was so good. It's god, all the boss battles are so fun.
Yeah, like
lots of fun
performance issues aside, this might be. Oh boy, I don't know if I want to say this. This might
say it, Wyatt.
In the Borderlands community, might be my favorite. I need to let it.
I think a lot of people are really happy with this one.
I need to let it sit for a while. And maybe go back and play 2 and 3 again. but like it might be my favorite. It feels so smooth in comparison. Like the open world, I think really improves the flow of the game a lot when it's not separated into tons of little areas. I think the gate, like the gunplay is the best it's ever been. I think I have my own issues with like some of the loot. And that might just be my issue with how picky I can be about what types of guns that I want, but it feels like a lot of the time I never find a weapon that I'm like 100% satisfied with. But because you move through weapons so quickly, I feel like that's less of an issue, you know? Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
They really stepped up their game this time around.
Yeah, I agree. Generally, great time. I really enjoyed the whole campaign the whole way through. My biggest, like, I wouldn't even say call this a negative point, because this is just a thing that games and series do. It ends on, like, kind of a cliffhanger. Not really, but, like, in a way that's, like, nodding you towards what's going to happen in the next game. But Borderlands has been hinting to, like, this big thing for 2 to 3 games at this point. So I'd really like the next one to get to the big things, or not just continually
the death of the universe.
I don't.
The Great War and all the stuff that was teased in Borderlands 2. We can't keep teasing the same thing and then kicking the ball down the court. Eventually, we have to.
I feel. Now, I have not played 4, so you guys can tell me if this is still the same. But I felt like Borderlands 3. There was parts of it that I was feeling like stale with some of the characters who had. I had, we're still on some of the same characters being relevant since Borderlands 1 and 2 and whatnot. And as much as I like them, I was kind of wishing that in terms of like story moving forward, we could sort of like meet some new people.
Well, this might be the game for you because it has the least amount of legacy characters in like any other game past 2.
Great.
I would say.
I'll play it eventually.
Yeah. There's some legacy characters that are important
stabilize some things.
And generally speaking, it's way less like, oh, don't you remember this character than Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
was.
I felt like 3 was that way a lot. And
a lot of the legacy characters they do use are Vault Hunters from the 3rd game, where it's kind of nice to have them fully, with full dialogue and everything, and they aren't player characters. I feel like you get kind of a better understanding of their personality that way.
That's my other big plus with this one, is it feels like your Vault Hunter talks way more.
Like you're constantly talking
time. There's cutscenes with your character in them, including your customizations and stuff. So like, this one does a much better job of incorporating you into the story, and it means all the Vault Hunters, you feel their personality in the story, whereas I'd say like in 3, I really only felt Zane's, because I think Zane was more talkative than the rest, but a lot of the other characters didn't have a ton to say. And this time you get to see a lot more of your own Vault Hunter and their personality, and it feels pretty significantly different. Like, I've replayed a handful of quests, because I kind of burned through this game really quickly. I was playing on Vex, and then I played with Alex, who was playing on Amon, and then we did some of the same side quests, and the context of them sounds different, coming from a different character. Even if a lot of the lines from the other characters are the same, the way that your character responds gives it a very different feeling. So I'm actually looking forward to replaying this on one of the other Vault Hunters at some point.
I do have a question. Have both of you played the Flat Earth mission?
I have not.
No.
Okay. I'm very interested to see, because like there's a guy, and he's basically trying to prove to you that, or you're trying to prove to this person that Kairos isn't flat, and it's like a series of questions. It's really funny, but like Rafa instantly is like, yeah, this guy's fucking stupid. I'm very interested to see if there are any Vault Hunters that believe him at first or something, given how different the context can be. Like, I could totally see Amon believing it at first and then being like, hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a second.
Amon seems like the Dumb Barbarian. All of his dialogue is like, oh, this man's a philosopher.
Yeah, he's a body of.
He's Plato.
Okay,
he's Plato in body and soul.
Because I think it's literally that Amon is meant to be the warrior poet. So very cool archetype.
Fair enough.
All right. Moving past Borderlands 4, which I'm sure we'll talk about again at some point after Wyatt has finished it, and we have some more things to say.
Well, I'm not going to be finishing it for a while.
Because Hades 2 is a problem. I want to put a timeline in front of people. So Hades 2 came out on, the 25th? Yeah, it's been 3 days. I have... And as of note, I did not play the game in early access at all. Bought it day 1 on early access, never touched it. I was like, I'm gonna wait until this is out. Proceeded to within the last 3 days let me find Steam and directly out myself. 21 hours into
Oh.
Hades 2.
Unfortunately, I have not had a similar amount of time. This entire week has been kind of crazy for me.
Well, wait, you're not that far back. You're at 15 hours. So.
That's true. Well, I mean, I played about 20, I want to say about like 20 hours in early access when it first came out, and then I was like, I'll just let them do their thing. So I'm at 34.6 hours now. So still decent chunk of time, but I haven't been able to no life it, is what I'm saying, which is what I want to do.
Which is what I did yesterday. It was literally get up, breakfast, Hades 2, lunch, Hades 2, sleep. That was basically the day.
Sounds like a dream. Sounds like a dream.
It was a great day. And yeah, I've managed to, in that time, finish the paths of the game once each. There's kind of two separate routes that you can take in Hades 2 past a certain point. And yeah, it's phenomenal. I'll specify too, in that Hades 1, I loved Hades 1. I did have issues with it. There were certain things that I didn't like so much. Hades 1, I really felt like once you had finished it once, the drive to keep going and keep playing it was kind of hard to keep mustering, because it felt like there wasn't a ton of ways to vary your run up outside of your weapon choice. Progression was pretty slow. Like, it took a lot of, it would be like 2 to 3 runs at a certain point before I'd see a new thing. Whereas Hades 2, I've been playing it nonstop. Every single run has been new stuff. There's constant objectives that I'm being handed. I've got reasons to go in every which direction, reasons to use different weapons. All the weapons feel very different, which I really like. So it legitimately, I think, has fixed that problem for me, in that, like, yeah, I've beat both sides once. I'm not going to stop. I don't see myself stopping until I reach the true ending for this one. Whereas Hades 1, I kind of hit the point of, like, finishing that game, the main path, and then just being like, I don't really want to do the thing where I need to go beat it 10 more times to see the actual ending, because it felt like you were kind of locked in there. This time around, I'm like, yeah, I do want to keep going.
The way that this game keeps, like, unfurling itself, it's paced so well, but there are just like a mind-numbing amount of small details or mechanics or systems that it just keeps going. It's like
it just snowballs to insanity. It's great.
But it never loses sight of storytelling. It never loses sight of its own simplicity. It's all doled out very well. Like in a way where you're never overwhelmed by it, but it never loses sight of itself either, which is such a difficult, needle to thread. But they do it almost like effortlessly. I don't even understand like how they do it. There's so much more going on in this one than the original. They have more of like a defined, coherent crafting system this time around. There's resource gathering, there's like growing plants, there's you have to collect all these little things for all these other things, but nothing feels extraneous, and it's never felt like a grind ever, because you're just kind of picking things up as you go in your run. And if you ever feel like you need to kind of make concessions and go this way to get this specific material, it's all working towards something that you're really excited about unlocking. So it never feels like it's taking your focus away.
I mean, one of the best parts about this one, I think, especially compared to Hades 1, is Hades 1, you kind of hit a bar with what happens when you go back to the House of Hades in between runs, where you'll kind of hit a wall of progression unless you beat the next thing. Like, I remember the barrier when I was playing that game between beating everything except for the final boss and then beating the final boss, I hit a point where I was just like, I had to keep doing runs. Like, I just had to keep going back and doing runs, and there was very little else that I could actually do in between runs, because I was just like, I just had to beat this boss for anything else to start triggering. And so it became very boring for a little while because there was that interstitial.
Notably, they never ran out of, for me at least, they never ran out of like new dialogue. Like, it may not have been things that really progressed the story, but they never ran out of unique things to say, even in the first game.
Yeah, I think the thing I mean in the first game is, like, the first game you hit a point where there's not anything you can do to increase your power, right? Like, there's nothing, or like your options, as you kind of run the options of the mirror out pretty quickly, or things start to get really expensive, or it's like you need to be running like max nightmare runs and all that to get through and get these resources that you need to upgrade stuff. Which means if you're having trouble, like if you're not doing great at these bosses, you kind of wall yourself in. Whereas like the resource system in Hades 2 means you're always getting stuff. You're always moving up. There's tons of things that you can progress and change. Like at this point, I still have tons of stuff to add on to. The Arcana system, crazy cool. I think it is so much better than the Mirror in Hades 1.
100%.
Because it feels like you have so much more control, but you also are limited. You aren't like, I can just max everything. It's more I gotta pick and choose what I actually want to use. The Keepsakes, very similar story.
And the nice thing about that system is if there's a specific boss that you're trying to clear, you can pick specific like Arcana cards that will really help you in that fight. So you can really morph your build into something that is directly attacking the thing that's stopping you.
Yeah.
So it feels like you have a lot of other avenues to get through the current wall that you're in, which is great.
It also feels like there's way more measures for build diversity here, in that Millennium has access to a lot more systems than Zagreus did in terms of like the combat flow. So you've got Magicka to work with now, where you've got a bar that you use for special moves, and you can do a special move off of your attack, your special attack, or your cast. And all three will do a different thing. Your cast is always based on your run, and your hex, which is another thing that you get,
which has its
own
like
an ultimate ability.
Every separate hex, which is kind of like an ultimate move, has its own randomized skill tree during a run.
Yeah, which will be different every time.
Different.
with different like keystone nodes too. It's crazy. It's legitimately wild for a single skill, and just stuff like that means you have so much expression in the game. Like the first run that I got really far in, I was pretty early on, but had gotten a hex that lets you, when you kill an enemy, you can press the button to bring them back for a few seconds as an ally. But the skill tree that I'd gotten for that ability in that run had a thing that was there now permanent. So I was able to make it so that they stayed around the whole time after that point, which meant in boss fights, if they had a single ad, I now had a permanent buddy that would just take some of the pressure off, which was super nice.
And there's one
really
boss in particular. There's one boss in particular, you were telling me about this, that has 3 separate entities to the boss that you have to fight, and if you kill one of them and activate it, you get one of those.
You get one of those as the thing, and there's voice lines acknowledging what happens. So like it's just the web of stuff weaves so tightly together in a way that I feel like Hades 1 approached and was very good at. Like, again, like Hades 1, 10 out of 10 video game. To be very clear about where we're coming from, Hades 2, 11 out of 10. They've managed to escalate in every way they could. I have like 2 minor gripes, and they're so nitpicky. It just is a really incredible game so far, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's rocketed to the top of my Game of the Year list right now. We'll see if I'm still playing Expedition 33, and I think Expedition 33 currently is still sitting at the top. We'll see if that changes as I play more Hades 2 or Expedition 33. But they're really tightly close together, and KCD2 is right with them. So, yeah, Game of the Year is going to be a bloodbath this year.
It's crazy.
Every
I would say
nominee will be insane.
My gripes similarly are very small and very nitpicky, and some of them are very personal.
Yeah.
One, I think some of the like mid-region bosses, so kind of like the stat check bosses,
this is the big one I agree with,
can get fucking stupid sometimes.
So,
and it's very dependent on the build you have.
Yeah, so I got to go into the boss we were talking about. There's a vampire type enemy that you can find in one of the areas. It's kind of far in. If you get hit by him, he heals about half of his health. No matter how much damage he did to you, he will heal like half of his health. If you run into him the first time, I was fighting him legitimately for 15 minutes because with my build, I was too slow to keep dodging his stuff, having never seen it before. And he would just keep clipping me right as I was about to kill him. And that lasted for 15 minutes in this mid-boss before he finally got me. Because I hadn't gotten lucky with any attack boosting stuff. All of my boons were passive. I'd kind of just gotten to that point by brute force until I reached him and was just like, I can't now keep going because I have nothing increasing my damage. That one boss feels like a problem, especially because on another character where I ran into him again, this was the character I did with that hex build where you have like a minion that you can raise. That he heals if he hits the minion. even though the minion can't take damage.
Damn.
And you can't control the minion. And the problem with that build is this was the one where the minion lasted forever. So I couldn't get rid of the minion, so he couldn't hit it. I literally had to run across the arena to make sure he was never facing the minion and just let the minion kill him as I ran around the room like full on Wile E. Coyote, just running around trying to chase it. And truly, that one boss is a problem, I think. It's a little bit overtuned in terms of the healing it does. And it shouldn't heal off of the Hex monsters, because you can't. There's no way to influence that.
And the other thing is, I would argue, and this kind of comes down to, the individuals. Some of those like mid-region bosses, they're not always hard, but sometimes their attack patterns are kind of annoying. Like they're not always super fun. Like I would say that the vampire boss is an example of that. But like they're never anything that really breaks the experience for me. But sometimes it's like, ugh, okay, I guess we have to
Look,
fight
the
this guy.
vampire boss without the healing would be fine. He would be annoying, but he would be fine. With the healing, he's crazy. He's legitimately insane. And then there's a rat called Uh-Oh.
Huh?
Well, if this is anything like the first game, his name is probably going to change from Run to Run, kind of like the Hydra in the first game, where you keep changing his name because you're trying to find the right name for him. It's very cute. Yeah, there's a tiny little rat, very similar to the first game. Super tiny little guy, and you can never tell where he's going or what he's doing. He's just like impossible to keep track of.
It's also, this game has way more propensity for ground effects than Hades 1 did, because you often are throwing down your own stuff on the ground. Like the level of like insanity from builds here gets a level higher than Hades 1 did.
Yeah, that's one of my other complaints, is that Hades 1 kind of had this problem. This makes it so much worse. Sometimes the readability can be a bit of an issue because there are so many effects and spells and attacks going everywhere all at the same time, and it can be kind of hard to read your screen sometimes. Which, I wouldn't say that it's ruined the experience for me at all, but there can be times where you take some pretty major hits and it can be a little frustrating just because you can't fucking see anything.
Yeah.
And then it becomes an issue because you can't always tell what's from you and what's from enemies, because that's so many
problem to me is there's a lot of effects from you. Like there's similar to the first game, you've got like variant weapons you can use, and one of them puts like a big line between you and another thing on the screen whenever you're running around, and this line is like, it looks like an enemy effect. It's super useful because it'll do damage to enemies between it, but it's really hard when everything's going on because it's purple and all the enemy effects are also purple, so you've got this like purple line flinging around while enemies are shooting purple projectiles at you, and it gets a little bit overwhelming. That said, like, these are pretty nitpicky. Like, we're going deep into it.
Yeah, and this is the deepest, stupidest, nitpickiest garbage that I have to say, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about the first game so much is how well the premise fits a roguelike. Like, you're the son of the Lord of the Dead, so if you die, it's really not that big of a deal because you just go back to your house, right? And that fits the theme of a roguelike so well, and there's tons of lines of dialogue in the game that kind of talk about that and reflect that. It's such a cute aspect of the premise, and it's one of the things that makes it so interesting. In 2, it's not really the same. It's like, oh, I'm about to die, I'm going to teleport back to my little witch camp. And so that part of the premise isn't really there in the same degree. Again, this is so specific and nitpicky.
Well, I think so. I might be wrong about this. I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I think the logic there is meant to be that Melanoe can do this because she's also a child of Hades. It's not like a thing.
You don't really return to the underworld.
You don't return to the underworld. That's, I think the thing that she's doing is to make her not return to the underworld, but return to Erebus instead. Because to my understanding, that's why she's the one that was trained and not like the other characters in your camp. Is like, that's at least the logic I've taken from it.
You're still casting a spell right before you die. Again, this is so not that big of a deal, but it's just something that I liked so much about the first game that isn't here, so I thought I would comment on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, like, do we even need to mention things like fucking aesthetics, music, voice acting. It's all like top tier shit. It's
Yeah.
all
The thing
beautiful.
Wyatt and I were talking about earlier, so Supergiant, especially the Hades games, everyone sounds hot. In a way
Yeah.
that like most games don't go for this sound, but it is literally every character sounds attractive. Except
Yeah.
for one, and the one that doesn't is so funny. And I won't spoil who, so you can play the game and find out, but it is hilarious.
And it sticks out. You'll know who it is because it sticks out like such a sore thumb after
It's
potentially
so
5,
funny.
10 hours. Like, imagine if you've never played a Supergiant game before. Imagine every character talks like the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3. Where they just sound hot, which is ironic because one of the major characters in Hades 2 is the same voice actor. But every character sounds like that, where they just sound very attractive.
Yep.
Except for one character.
And it's so good. And that
so
moves on
funny.
to like Melanoe is a really good protagonist. I thought it would be hard to top Zagreus. I think they're very much doing the best they can with the sequel. So very much enjoyed playing as Melanoe. I think her attitude is really interesting and very different from Zagreus. Because like Zagreus is always trying to escape, and Melanoe's whole thing is like she's fulfilling a duty. Which yeah, it's really cool.
It's interesting because what I thought was originally a weakness of her character, which is like she's okay, without spoilers, she is trying to save her family, right? But she barely knows her family because she was separated from her family when she was like a baby, like probably not even a year old. And so at first I was like, okay, she feels very passionately about saving her family, but she doesn't really know them that well. Like there's not much of a connection there. But that weakness kind of turns into a strength because it's such a major part of the game because you can tell that she's kind of questioning herself about this, which is what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how that plays out.
It's very interesting because I think Hades 1, it was really focused on Zagreus trying to escape and being the whole deal. Hades 2, because there is a greater thing happening, like there is a big event going on in the world that you are directly dealing with, you have all the side characters having their own motivations and goals in the same event. Whereas in Hades 1, that was just not a factor. Like there wasn't goals for a lot of the side people. In this one, it's like every character is fulfilling a role within this thing going on, and that's really interesting because it means you have like evolving relationships with characters. There's things like you have gods that can show up and will actually like be in a hunt with you while you're going through and doing like a mini game thing that's really fun. And in a way that's just very different from Hades 1. It's a lot like Hades 1, you had Thanatos could show up and do a cool thing, and like you'd have a little competition. This has like 8 different versions of that same thing with different characters, which is super cool because it's very thematic. And you kind of learn like who will show up in which area of the world. It's very fun.
The first game does have some of that. Like there's literally 2 characters where you mend their entire relationship through all of the runs that you're doing and stuff, which is really cool. I think this game goes so much further. Yeah. And I think that's like, again, it kind of comes back to what I was saying at the start of this conversation, which is this is like such a clear-cut example of what a sequel should be, which is like just expanding on everything without losing focus of what made the first game so good or what people liked about the first game. Like it is, if you're trying to like learn what makes a good sequel, so far like this is tens across the board, like perfect example of how to do a sequel.
Oh my god, the music. Like
Dude, like
it's crazy.
It's
the first game, like Orpheus and Eurydice, were like I think the biggest musical focuses in that game. This one, there are multiple characters who will sing songs, fully different ones. Like it's crazy. There's full songs going on. Why you want to speak about the boss that you love so much?
Okay, first of all, fuck these people. Second of all, I'm very bad. There's a boss fight where you're fighting sirens, right? I'm very bad at it. I'm terrible at it. But essentially there's 3 of them, right? And they're part of a band because they're the sirens, and it's Scylla and the sirens. It's very cute. So you're fighting them on this giant stage while they're performing for a bunch of people. One of them is the singer. That's kind of like the lead. And then you also have a drummer and a guitarist, right? While you're fighting them, and in fact, throughout the entire region leading up to them, you can hear the song that they're playing. And they have
Does it
different
get louder as you
songs.
get closer to them?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh,
And
yes.
they have
They
different
really thought
songs.
of everything, didn't they?
It's crazy. Oh, it gets Alex, you don't even know. It gets better.
It just keeps
As you're
extending.
fighting them, I'm just starting. I'm just getting started. As you're fighting them, they're playing the song, right?
Mhm.
But as you take out either the drummer
Mhm.
or the guitarist, their part of the song is removed entirely. So if you get rid of the drummer, the drums in the song that's playing during the boss fight goes away until eventually you're just left with the singer. And then after a certain point, once you like take out her other
Do
two
you always
minions,
kill the singer last? Is that
yes,
something that
it's
okay.
it's like forced basically. She always ends last, and right up to the very end, you can tell she's getting annoyed with you because the lyrics change to her just wanting to fucking tear your eyes out.
Yeah,
It's so angry with you.
targeted.
Oh my god.
It's fucking amazing, and they even they have like record scratches for certain moments. There's a hex where you can slow down time for 4 seconds, and everything slows way down. It's amazing. It's like.
It is wild.
It's,
It is
it's
absolutely
important.
crazy.
Here's the other thing. It's important to keep in mind. This is an indie studio. How big is Supergiant? Like, uh, uh, hold on. It's important to keep in mind. First of all, this is like $30. I can't even remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, tremendous value for $30.
25 people. That's it.
Great job.
25 people
Phenomenal
for like
job.
tens of thousands of fucking lines of dialogue, so many songs, so many specific lines of dialogue. Like bosses and NPCs will comment on like the weapon you're carrying, the specific like aspect of the weapon that you're carrying. There's different armors that you can wear, and they'll comment on like different colors and stuff like that. If you made it really far in one run, and then the next one you didn't do as well, and you maybe made it half the way that you did last time, Melenoi will like beat herself up about it, and everyone else is like trying to encourage her. It's so specific.
Also, it'd be like one of the specific things I found that got me is I had one run where I died to an enemy that was kind of like a pirate dude who's not a boss or anything. He was just like a mid boss essentially, pirate that I found out afterwards. The name is the Yargonaut. Which is so funny. But there was unique dialogue for having died to that specific enemy in the level who's not even the boss. Just like you can go walk
some
around.
Random ad.
Just some random dude. He's a mini boss, so he did have like a little bit more of a unique like color and staging, but he's not like the boss. And it was really funny to have unique dialogue for that. It's also it's
cool.
the kind of game where like you're kind of excited when you fail a run because you want to see what they're gonna say about what you did.
Well, and again, it like an improvement on the first game. You're excited when you die because you have so many more things to do in between your runs. You have so many things to upgrade, so many people to talk to, so many different things happening. And it's what's nice is like we're talking about presentation. It's not just that all of these are like 11 out of 10. Like don't even get me started on the character designs. Every single character design goes so fucking
crazy
hard.
hard.
It's incredible. But it's all what's great is how playful everything is. Like I said, like how they use music in that specific region with the sirens, the record scratches. I love that there's a narrator that will just like have super flowery dialogue on specific moments to like help describe the setting you're in or whatever. And it's revealed that it's Homer. And sometimes Melenoi will just comment.
Melenoi will just acknowledge as like, oh, how's it going, Homer?
And then he goes like, I'm doing all right.
You're not supposed to say that. It's so
great.
Good.
Because like I feel like you can kind of see if someone wants to use Greek mythology, sometimes that can come off as being kind of lazy, where it's like, oh, I don't want to create my own lore. Here's, XYZ mythology. What I love about Hades 1 and 2 is that it takes that mythology and it doesn't like disregard anything, but it's so playful and so creative with everything. It's like
the Siren Band is just such a stroke of genius. Like,
yeah, it's fantastic. Or like I love that like you have all of this you have this mythological tale about Orpheus and Eurydice, and in the first game it's like trying to get those two back together again and like in a healthier relationship instead of just like a musician and their muse, which is great. It just it puts so much effort into making their own stamp on this, mythology, which is great. It doesn't really ride on it too much. It doesn't rely on it too much.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thoroughly enjoying it. I
Damn.
am sure we're gonna have more to say. I think this is probably a very likely game that we'll likely do a games club on in the future, because it is a game where like beating it entails a lot of runs, so it'll be a little while, I expect, before we actually do that. But I think we're gonna have a lot to say in the meanwhile as we're going through it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
100%.
super good. Great on. It's also on Switch 2. Another one of the first like big Switch 2 grabs that I think is gonna be great for folks who
It's
are
a
looking to play
great
it.
It's a great Switch game. It's gonna run buttery smooth, I'm sure. And the run-based nature of roguelikes, I think, fits mobile consoles really well. Which also makes it a great Steam Deck game. I've been so busy that's where I've been putting most of my hours is on Steam Deck, because I haven't been at my computer recently.
Yeah. Very little negative to say. So I can't wait to finish more of this game. That's the note we're ending on with Hades 2.
Because we want to go play more.
Yeah, we gotta go play more Hades 2. So we monopolize the show a little bit, which means, hey gang, it's time for shoutouts.
I've got a shout out for an older game.
Hell yeah.
One that surprisingly I have not actually played all the way through before. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Ooh.
Hell yeah.
The Legacy Collection on the PS3. I don't think there's another way to play that unless you have a PSP.
I think the Master Collection has Peace Walker in it, if I'm remembering correctly.
The recent one is.
Maybe it has portable ops.
Maybe
yeah,
it does. I know.
Good.
Yeah, I've played the rest of the series. I haven't played that one. It's really good. There's occasionally some odd like breaks in the levels because it was a PSP game, and so the
it doesn't. It isn't in the Master Collection. I think it's in the second one.
No, but they did just announce Master Collection 2, and I'm hoping that's 4 and Peace Walker. I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, it's got to be 4 Peace Walker and portable ops, because those are the 3 that are really hard to find. But yeah, I really enjoyed Peace Walker when I played it, and
it's also fully co-op, which is cool.
Yeah, crazy for
nobody
a
I
PSP
know has
game.
it on PS3 though. So
hey, I got it on PS3. If you want to play sometime, figure out how to hook it up.
There's Monster Hunter. We could go do the Monster Hunter levels.
Hell yeah. All right, I can pop in next. It's been a week of like weird little indie game exploration for me. So I got 2 quick indie games to shout out. Well, actually 3. Road to Empress. I'm not going to say anything about this game. It's an FMV adventure game. Please go watch someone play this or play it yourself. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. In a affectionate way, I actually think this game is worth your money if you get it on PC. It's like $7 and is phenomenal. It's such a funny FMV. I'm very excited for the sequel. It's short. It's like 3.5 hours long or so if you're just doing one route. But it's a great time. Second is Megabonk, which is going a little bit viral in some circles, I think.
Oh, I've heard about this.
It's like a 3D Vampire Survivors type thing that's really self-aware. It's kind of mixing things with Risk of Rain. The dev has put out a ton of like YouTube videos that are really funny. It's just kind of a good time. It's a classic thing, and it's also the thing that's always my problem with the Vampire Survivors likes is that they still aim for that 30-minute timer. Which is hard. Like that's a long run time for a game that doesn't have a narrative or anything in the middle. That's kind of pulling you away, like Hades has, where Hades has longer runs, but that's because you've got more going on in the run. Whereas like Vampire Survivors, I get kind of bored after like 15 minutes at the most. And Megabonk kind of hits that time perfectly because of the Risk of Rain structure. And then Granvir. Granvir is a neat little mech game where it's basically like kind of Armored Core mixed with battle mech type thing, where you're running around and assembling a mech as you try to like liberate an area as a like heroic ace pilot, which is very cool. Very indie. It's very much like that low poly look, but it's got the juice of mech customization. And I've only played the demo of it because I don't own it yet, but I definitely want to point that one out if you're into mech games, because it's always slim pickings for mech fans like us. All right, that's my stuff. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. We did a whole stream about this a little while ago. Jump Space is out in early access. I think this has so much potential. Genuinely, again, it's not Hades 2, so it is kind of being.
It's very
tossed
good, but it's not
aside.
Hades 2.
It's being tossed aside. It is what it is. It's not really its fault, other than it's not Hades 2. But I think this has so much potential, and it's very early access. Some of us have had some pretty bad technical issues. I don't think it's running well for anyone in in this cast.
I will mention the crashes that I had in the video have stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did that fixed it, but something stopped it from happening.
They have been pushing out performance or like technical patches as well, which might have helped. But it's just so much fun, like kind of tight rogue like style runs, but in like a Sea of Thieves style ship. It's really fun co-op. Surprisingly very competent first person shooting as well, because you can get out of the ship. The ship
also fully
controls
playable
are,
solo too. Is a
Yeah.
good call out, I think.
And I think they also updated it recently so that it's fully playable offline too, which is fucking great to see. I think the roadmap that they have, I think, is really solid. I think based on the live streams that I've seen from this dev team, they seem genuinely really passionate about it, which is
Yeah.
always what you want. I think it's in a good place right now for early access, and like I said, so much potential. So I'm really excited to see how this evolves over time.
All right, Alex, what you got? Oh no, he's been obliterated. Are we missing our Alex?
I've been muted. Oh fuck! I screamed out my shout out at the very beginning because I'm just like, okay, we'll make this quick. Earl Grey flavored macaroon, good flavor.
Perfect.
How long have I been? Oh no! It sounded like you were agreeing with everything that I was saying when I was like in between talking about.
To begin with?
I do it on accident. The mute button is in a really stupid place on my headphones. God.
Are you touching your head? Oh, is it like on the cable? Like
it's right next to the volume slider.
Did you accidentally hit it with your hands, or does it bump again? I'm still kind of confused.
Yes, I accidentally hit it with my hands.
How the muting happened. All right, well, that's the show this week, folks. Wyatt and I have some Hades to do, so yeah, you're not going to hear from us for the next week. Yeah, see ya.
If only I didn't have to go to work, then it would just be pure. No one would hear from me.
Yeah, I'd be gone.
I'd be getting wellness checks all the time. It'd be rough.
What do you think is the time period that'll get you back to jump space?
I love that you asked that during the outro.